Motihari, and I welcome all the students of class 10 once again. Now today we are going to do an interesting poem. Okay? The name of the poem is Amanda by Robin Klein. Now Robin Klein is a woman and she is an Australian poet. Okay? Now the name of the poem is Amanda. Now, you see, there are two sketches that I made. Of course, the sketches are very bad. However, these are sketches of a girl. Alright? Just in case you have any confusion, this is the sketch of a girl. Alright? The sketch may be bad, but one particular thing is very clear. And that is, if you see these sketches, you will know that the girl is sad. Okay? The girl is sad. Now the question is, why is the girl sad? Well, that, my dear students, brings us to the central idea of the poem. Okay? Why is the girl sad? The answer is the theme. The answer is the central idea of the poem. Now this poem is about a girl called Amanda, who is about maybe 9, 10 or 11 years old, and she is very sad. And why is she sad? It is because her parents, in particular her mother, keeps telling her about what to do and what not to do. She keeps nagging her. She keeps finding faults with her every moment of the day. Now this really troubles Amanda, just as it troubles all children of her age. When parents are very strict and they keep finding faults with their children, then a time comes when the children become so annoyed that they use their imagination in order to find an escape route. Now, please understand that this is not a criticism of the parents. This is not a criticism of the parents. Okay? Parents are there to tell us what is right or wrong. Parents are there to tell us how to behave and how not to behave. Yes. However, they're doing the right thing in the wrong manner. They're doing the right thing, but not in the right manner. They're doing the right thing the wrong way, when they should be doing the right thing the right way. And what is the right way? The right way would be to tell their children what is right or wrong, how to behave and how not to behave, what are the things to do and what are the things not to do, in a more considerate, sympathetic, patient, and more friendly manner. If you keep shouting at children constantly, then a time comes when the children will get detached from you. Okay? They will move away from you. This is the message of the poem. The poem says that parents should be more considerate, they should be more patient in dealing with children. They have to tell you, yes, if my parents did not tell me how to behave, then I wouldn't be here, right? If my parents did not tell me what to do and the kind of behavior that I should exhibit, then I wouldn't have been here, standing right here in front of you. Yes, so the the parents are doing the right thing. However, the question is, are they doing the right thing in the right manner? That is the question. Okay? So, this particular poem tells you how Amanda is sad because her parents keep nagging her. Her mother keeps nagging her. Now, how would you know that it is her mother? Yes, that's an interesting question. How would you know it's not the father and the mother? The mother, because it is usually the mothers who keep nagging, right? Who keeps telling you, like, look, this is the thing to do this, and don't do this, and do that, and don't do that. Okay? It is always the mother, because the mother is there in the house all throughout the day. Right? The fathers are usually busy, but the mothers are there to look after the children and to tell them, to teach them the correct ways, the correct codes of conduct. Okay? Because the society expects you to behave in a particular manner. Remember, we are all social beings, right? We live in a society. So we have to have civil manners. Because as civilians, we have to have decent civil manners. Okay? However, the parents must understand that they are dealing with children. And children want some freedom. Children want independence at the age of maybe 9, 10 or 11, when you are really told how to behave and what not to do and what to do, right? This is an age where things should be done patiently and with a lot of consideration and thought. Because if you don't think before you deal with the children, then the children will go further away from you. They will get detached. They will become indifferent. And your very purpose. The purpose. What is the purpose? Why do the parents tell their children to do this and not this and this and not that? Why do the parents tell their children? Because the idea is to make them good citizens, to make them people with good behavior, with good, to inculcate the codes of conduct into them. But if they don't do it properly and the children become indifferent and the children don't really listen, alright, they are not bothered, they shut themselves in an imaginary world and shut off their parents, then the entire idea, the entire purpose is defeated, isn't it? The purpose is to make them learn good manners, to make them good people, okay? To tell them that this is the way to behave. But if the children don't learn, if the children shut themselves away, what happens? The purpose, the very intention is defeated. Okay? So this is exactly what happens to this girl called Amanda. Okay? She is the main figure. She is the protagonist in this poem. Protagonist. The word protagonist means the central character, the main character. So the main character of this poem has shut herself away from her mother, who keeps shouting at her for every little thing, every moment of the day. And finally, what is the result? Does she learn good manners? Does she learn the codes of conduct? She doesn't. Why? Because she shuts herself away completely from her mother. She doesn't yell back. She doesn't shout back. What she does is become indifferent to the wives of her mother. So what happens? The purpose is defeated. Okay? So that is the message. That you shouldn't be nagging. Parents should understand that nagging, N-A-G-G-I-N-G, nagging means, the word nagging means to constantly find faults and keep telling people this is to be done and this is not to be done, this has to be done, and this is right and that is wrong. You know, constantly telling the people to do something and not to do something until a point is reached where a person becomes totally annoyed and disappointed. That is nagging. So nagging doesn't help. Okay? So that's the message of the poem. Nagging doesn't help. If children are to be taught the right way to behave, okay, that has to be done very patiently with a lot of consideration and in a rather friendly manner. Alright? So this is the message of the poem. Now, with that background, let us go over to the poem. Okay? Now, interestingly, if you see, the poem has 7 stanzas. However, the poem has a particular structure. Okay? It has a particular form. It has a particular structure. Now, what is the structure of the poem? You see, it begins, with the mother telling Amanda, the child, to do certain things and not do certain things, right? And it is followed, every stanza of a mother's speech is followed by Amanda reacting in an opposite manner. How does she respond? Her response is not responding at all. You get it? That is her response. The response is that she doesn't respond at all. She does not say a word because she is lost in her own world. Alright? So that is her response. Okay? So, I believe I have written here frame. You see, everything is done in forms of frames. Okay? So, stanza 1, mother. Stanza 2, Amanda. Again, stanza 3, the mother. Stanza 4, Amanda. So, this is one frame. Okay? One frame of 2 contrasting images. One of the mother shouting at the child, and the second image of a child who is lost in her own world. She doesn't react at all. Right? The 2 images put side by side, right? And they make for one frame. Okay? One frame is one image, like a frame of a picture. That is one particular frame, 2 halves, one the mother, second the child. Okay? Put side by side. Alright? Now, if you see every reaction, the way the child responds, which is, thinking of an imaginary word, all that, the child's reaction is put in brackets. Okay? And this putting in brackets is called parenthesis. So parenthesis is a way where a comment is made or an afterthought is given, right, by the poet, which is a reaction to what has been said earlier. If something has been said, okay, it has been said, something has been said. Now, what is said in reaction, or what happens in reaction to what has been said earlier, is the parenthesis. And parenthesis is usually put in brackets or put within brackets. Okay? So this is parenthesis. Okay? So this is the form or the structure of the poem. Alright? Now, the first frame. begins with the mother. The mother saying, don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit straight, Amanda. Okay? So don't bite your nails. This is what mothers do. Don't bite your nails. Don't do this. Don't do that. Alright? So don't bite your nails, Amanda. See the exclamation mark? The exclamation mark is that she is nagging. She is shouting at her. She is scolding her. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay? The exclamation marks tell you that she is actually shouting. The mother is actually shouting. Okay? She is scolding Amanda. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders. Hunch. Hunch is to bend forward. Okay? Hunch. Like this. Bending forward. That is hunching. Okay? So don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight. Okay? So don't slouch. Slouch is to bend on one side. This is slouching. When one of your shoulders is pushed up, the other shoulder goes down, this is slouching. Alright? So don't slouch. And sit up straight. Be straight. Alright? Sit up straight. Amanda. You see? The threatening tone. It is not a friendly tone. It is a threatening tone. And therefore, it is this tone that Amanda does not like, and therefore she is sad. Okay? So what is her reaction? Her reaction is, since she wants freedom, she wants independence, just as, 8-year-olds or 9-year-olds do. They want to be independent. They want to behave their own way. Alright? So, what does Amanda do? That is put inside brackets. Now remember, brackets, you see, these are things you must analyze in literature. Alright? Why? Why do you put them in brackets? Why has Amanda's reaction, why has Amanda's thoughts and imagination put within brackets? When something is put within brackets, it is like putting something inside a fort. It is like putting something inside, the four walls of a fort. So Amanda has shielded herself. She has put herself inside a fort. Okay? So she has shielded herself from what her mother is doing or speaking. Okay? So those curves of a bracket, okay, these curves are a shield. They block Amanda from what her mother is saying. So Amanda is in another world. Okay, she's in another world. She's not listening to her mother. Amanda thinks there is a languid emerald sea. She's away. She's away somewhere else. She thinks that she is floating in a languid, the word languid means relaxed, calm. Okay, so she is floating in a relaxed emerald sea. Emerald is a green precious stone. Okay, a green precious stone. So she thinks that she is floating away in a rather, green sea, a very calm green sea, emerald sea, right? The sea is greenish in color. The sea resembles, it is like the emerald stone, which is green in color, and she is floating on that sea, where the soul, S-O-L-E, soul here means alone, she is alone. Her soul inhabitant is a person. Okay? Inhabitant, where the soul person is me. So there is nobody with her as she is floating on the green sea. Right? And she imagines herself She imagines herself as a mermaid. Now, mermaid, the word mermaid, means it is a mythological kind of figure where you must have seen the half part of the body, on the topmost part of the body, the first half of the body, all right, from the waist up is of a lady, of a woman, and the bottom half is of a fish. Okay, so the top half of a lady and the bottom half of a fish. So that's a mythological figure called a mermaid. Now, why does she think of a mermaid? Why does she compare herself with a mermaid who is drifting blissfully? Drifting is floating, flowing, okay? Blissfully means happily. So why does she think of herself as a mermaid? Because it is considered that mermaids are symbols of wonder and independence, of freedom. And what does Amanda want? She wants to be free. Alright? So that is the reason she imagines herself to be a mermaid. Alright? So she imagines herself to be a mermaid. So she thinks she is floating on the sea, the green sea, and she's a mermaid with no one with her. You see, she doesn't want her mother. Alright? She wants to be alone. She wants to be free and independent. Therefore, she imagines herself to be a mermaid. Alright? So, that is frame 1. Frame 1, 2 stanzas. 1 of a mother shouting at her. 2 of Amanda who is lost in another world. Alright? I'm sure this part is clear. Alright. So let's go over to frame 2, which is stanza 3 and 4. Alright? Stanza 3, as I told you earlier, it is again back to her mother, Amanda's mother, who shouts at her, "Did you finish your homework, Amanda?" See, this is so very natural. I have faced it. You people must have faced it when you were younger, or maybe some of you still face it. Alright? So, this is how mothers react. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? Alright? So, these children of 8, 9 or 10, they are usually untidy. Right? So this is how mothers tell them, "Come on, do this. Oh, that is dirty. That's filthy. Do it." Right? So did you tidy your room? Did you clean your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. See? She's telling Amanda, "Did you clean your shoes? Your shoes are not clean. They're so filthy. Come on, clean your shoes." So everything, how you eat, how you sleep, how you sit, how you drink, how you eat, every little thing, what is it you're wearing, whether it's clean or dirty, keep telling things repeatedly to a little girl. And that is wrong. That's the wrong way. Okay? So, Amanda's mother tells her all these things. And the reaction of which is, again, cold indifference. Very cold indifference. Okay? So, stanza 4 is again Amanda reacting. Right? And how does she react? She shuts herself away. She shuts herself off completely. She doesn't listen to her mother. She is lost in her own world. And this time, she imagines that she is an orphan. Orphan is anath. Anath, having no parents, right? So, she thinks that she is an orphan roaming the street. So, see how the psychology, मानसिकता, एक छोटी सी बच्ची की मानसिकता जो है, उसको दर्शाया गया है ना? So, it tells you that Amanda thinks, what is the use of having such a mother? Okay? This is how all of us think. At that age, when we are 8 or 9, this is how all of us think. What is the use of having such parents who constantly tell us to do this and not do that, who give us no freedom at all? Alright? So, she thinks that she's an orphan roaming the street, going about on the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. So she says that as she walks around without slippers, right, without her shoes, she patterns, that is, she makes soft dust with my hushed. Hushed is quiet. Quiet, bare feet. Bare feet is without slippers, without shoes. So she is making impressions. She is creating footprints, right, as she walks without shoes, without her slippers. Alright? That is what all children enjoy to do. Right? That is how children, that's what children enjoy doing. Walking without shoes. If you tell any child to put on the shoes, put on your slippers, he or she will not like it. Okay? So, that is exactly what Amanda thinks that she should be doing. She imagines herself walking without slippers, without shoes, and making impressions, making footprints, creating footprints as she walks along the street. Okay? And the silence is golden. See, she wants silence. She wants freedom. She wants freedom from the constant nagging. So what does she want? She wants silence. Mother wouldn't give her. Right? She keeps shouting. And she wants silence. And silence to her, to Amanda, is golden. Silence is golden. Okay? So she says, silence is golden. I love silence. And the freedom is so sweet. The freedom of walking on the street without her slippers is so sweet. Okay? The freedom of not being shouted at is so sweet. Alright? So she wants freedom and she wants silence. And both the things would not be given by her mother. Alright? You get that? Alright. So I hope these stanzas are now clear to you. Alright? Now before I close part 1 of this lesson, let me go over to the poetic devices. Now obviously the rhyme scheme, if you see the rhyme scheme, stanza 1 and 3, that is a mother, the mother's speech, alright? The rhyme scheme is A-A-B-A. See, Amanda, A, Amanda again, A, they're rhyming, straight, doesn't rhyme, so it's B, and Amanda, again A. So, A-A-B-A. Here too, Amanda, A-A, shoes, B, Amanda, A. So, A-A-B-A. That's the rhyme scheme. However, when it comes to Amanda, that is stanzas 2 and 4. This and this, stanzas 2 and 4, it is C-C-C. All rhyming, all the 3 lines rhyming with one another. See? See me blissfully. See me fully. They're all rhyming. So they are C, C, and C. Alright? Again, I'm often roaming the street. Street, feet, sweet. C, C, and C. Rhyming again. Alright? So that's the rhyme scheme. Alliteration, by now, I'm sure all of you know alliteration, right? The repetition of consonant sounds in quick succession. Say, stop slouching. Sit straight. Stop slouching, sit straight. Sir, sir, the repetition of the sound S. Sir. Right? That's alliteration. And caught and told in stanza 3. I caught, I told you. The repetition of the sound T. T. Alright? So that's alliteration. sentences. Okay? So you see, don't, the first word of the first line, the first word of the second line, they are both the same. Don't. So that is the use of anaphora. Okay, repetition. That's quite clear. I don't have to say this. Amanda, 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 Amanda. Okay, so that's the repetitions to make a point that her mother is nagging her daughter. Alright? And then you have metaphor. Metaphor. Yes. Metaphor is, as I told you in an earlier lesson, that metaphors are indirect comparisons between two things. Okay? Right. Now, emerald sea. Alright? Emerald sea. Now, the sea is like an emerald. Two unlikely objects, sea and emerald, but they are compared because the color of the sea is like the emerald stone, greenish in color. Alright? So that is emerald sea. Mermaid me. A mermaid drifting. And who is the mermaid? It is Amanda. Me. Amanda. Alright? So Amanda comparing herself to a mermaid. So that's a metaphor. Silence is golden. The silence becoming golden. So what is silence? Silence is like gold. It is golden. And freedom. What is freedom? It is so sweet. Okay? Freedom is so sweet. So that again is metaphor. Comparison between two things. Alright? So that's metaphor. So these are some of the poetic devices that have been used in the first four stanzas or the first two phrases. Alright? So we come to an end of part 1 today. Alright? So when we again meet, we will do part 2. Now part 2 is very interesting because there is something interesting right at the end of the poem. What that is, I'll tell you in part 2. So until we meet in part 2, best of luck, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye from me. Bye-bye.